Welcome to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers, for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend. Episode 5. I actually was dealing with this earlier today with a client. This dog is some type of Shiba Inu Jindo mix. He's a hunter through and through. This dog sees birds, squirrels. He will even look at planes and helicopters in the sky and get super excited that they're in the sky. And he'll start like whining and looking at them and barking at them as if they're like a live animal, right? And a lot of times, in this particular case, what I've seen is if this dog, there's this correlation between the mental state that the dog has and what he's physically doing with his body, right? And in the last episode, we talked about this correlation between physical structure and mental structure, right? It's easier for us to control what the dog's mental state is if we can control what the dog is physically doing, right? And what I was trying to teach the owners was there's 3 owners. There was a wife and a husband and myself, 3 people, 2 owners. And myself. And what we started to see was the wife who put in the most practice, the dog was more attentive and focused and calm with her. And the husband, who maybe only worked the dog a handful of times in the last couple of weeks, this dog is literally, as soon as the dog was on leash, the dog was sniffing, pulling, lagging, looking for birds, looking for squirrels, looking at all this stuff. And you saw kind of this night and day difference between the owner's relationship with the dog and the mom's relationship with the dog and the dad's relationship with the dog. And we start to see that literally the structure, like the dog switched, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, was a good dog on leash with the mom and a bad dog on leash with the dad. And what we start seeing is that the only reason that this is because of which handler is providing what levels of structure in the relationship, right? Now, obviously there is a part of this that has to do with how much we've practiced, how much we've conditioned, also the level of distractions. But what we start seeing is that owners who practice more with their dogs are automatically applying more structure physically, mentally, and therefore emotionally. Now, this is a dog I've trained just a handful of times myself, but every time that I train this dog, the dog has to listen, is responsive, gets heavy rewards. If for any reason the dog is out of focus, I'll redirect that focus back to me. And so what I've done is I've developed this relationship with the dog where he has to be very structured. And one of the biggest complaints I always get as a dog trainer is, why is the dog so good with you? Right? And the reason is because of the parameters, limits, boundaries, rules that we set naturally as dog trainers that a lot of normal dog owners have to learn and put into practice in order to become good. And literally, just like you saw, I saw the dog was great with the mom, horrible with the dad. The funny thing is when the dog handed the leash over to me, or when the mom handed the leash over to me, the dog was significantly even better with me than with the 2 of them, right? And so there's this interesting thing that happens as dog trainers where the dogs tend to listen to us more up front after training or after a few sessions, only because we speak very directly to them and we're very clear with the boundaries and limits that we set, particularly on a walk as well. Then eventually our goal is to shift that over to the family that owns them.